Good afternoon everybody and welcome to the stream. I'm Robert from the El Magnifico Games channel, and today we're going to continue with a playthrough of Dark Souls 2. So I think we literally just have the end of the game left to do. I don't think there's anything else. Which is, I mean, quite an achievement in and of itself. We finished the last DLC, the Sunken DLC, last time. So yeah, I mean, things are going well. As a slight aside, I should probably point out that I have ordered, well, I ordered and it has arrived a fan to hopefully try and keep the iPhone a bit cooler when I'm streaming. My hope is that this will mean that the iPhone won't overheat this time, because we've been having that problem a lot lately. I don't know if it'll work, and I don't know if you can hear the fan. I hope you can't. But, you know, it's one extra thing that's making a bit of noise in the room. But there's that. The black lipstick arrived, and I tried that out with the face tracking to see if it would work better. I chose black because I thought it might help my lips stand out more, but then the face tracking just thought my mouth was open all the time. And I thought about it, and that kind of makes sense, because the inside of my mouth would presumably be quite dark when I'm talking, so I guess it makes sense that it would interpret black lips as an open mouth. That unfortunately though, well, there's a good aspect to that and a bad aspect to that. The bad aspect is, of course, that it hasn't done what I wanted, which is track my mouth a little better. The good aspect to that, though, is it did actually have an effect. It did actually change the way the tracking worked, which proves that I may be onto something. That with the right lipstick, I may end up getting better face tracking. This is something that I'm going to have to continue experimenting with, I suppose. Although I must say, looking at my VTuber model right this second, the tracking's actually better than it usually is. I don't know if I've got like residual lipstick on or something, which has slightly changed the colour of my lips, or if that's just coincidence. Yeah, the tracking isn't perfect, is it? But I still think it's better than it usually is. Anywho, so with that out the way, let's get into the game. You're fine. I hope your streaming goes well. Wonderful to hear. Well, wonderful to hear that you're fine, Jenny, and thank you. Hope it goes well too. Isn't there someone down here that's about to attack me? Yes, I thought there was. Ow. They're actually kind of scary. I very much underestimated them. Oh, I just noticed. I should make sure I have a full complement of life gems, shouldn't I? But I don't have any souls on me, interestingly enough. I must have spent the last of them down to the very last soul last time. Fair enough. Produced a symbol of the king. I assume this is where I'm supposed to be going. Can you be more specific? Do you mean the king's ring? I could swap out the Chloranthy ring for the king's ring for a second. I don't actually remember. Ah, king's ring. Is this what you wanted? Oh dear. That is not what you wanted. Or is it? It is what you wanted. Huzzah. I was just about to say, I've got no one in chat to help me here. Right now. No one that knows the game. So if that hadn't worked, we'd have had a problem. Where's my Chloranthy ring? There it is. Right, let's carry on. So, this is new ground. It's the Emerald Herald. Well, of course, she said that she'd be with us till the very end, didn't she? Hello there.
My journey is already complete. My name is Shanalot.
Shanalot.
The dragon gave me this name, for I was born with none. I was born of dragons, contrived by men.
Interesting.
By ones who would cosm fate herself. They are the ones who created me. But they failed.
How so?
I did not come out as intended. Fate would not be bested, and men were cursed once again. If you proceed, Nashandra will come after you, knowing that you will take the throne and link the fire.
Will I now?
She covets the first flame and the great soul. Put Nashandra to rest.
Who's Nashandra? That was quite a lot of lore, and I didn't manage to copy it all down in time. Really? You're not going to repeat any of it? Well, something about becoming king and, well, queen in our case, and linking the flame. I got that much. Probably Nashandra is the one I'm supposed to be defeating. I would assume. Throne of Want. Look carefully. I can't tell if I'm being trolled or not. Because that would be a brilliant troll. Just telling someone to look carefully. Which way is it facing? It's facing that way, isn't it? I don't know how I could be... I get a sense for which way up these are supposed to be, but I don't know if I'm right. Like, that looks upside down to me, but I don't recognise the script, so I don't know why. That was odd. My sword hit nothing. Very strange. Well, let's keep going. Duo ahead. Okay. And is the final boss fight through that grey fog by any chance? I'll tell you what I might do actually. I might put a bright bug on the... I might remove the feather and put a bright bug on the bar. Simply because if I don't use one now, when am I ever going to use one? This is the last fight. Jumping where and why? Leg, in short, help me. Visions of Phantom and then poor soul. Is that rumbling? Or did I imagine that? People I could summon. But I probably won't. Alrighty then. Let's find out what I'm in for. Throne Watcher, Throne Defender. Alright. Interesting. I'm not sure if I was supposed to get away with that. I'm not sure what to make of these two, to be honest. I'm just really dubious that these two are actually the final boss. Oh, careful, I nearly went off the edge. I didn't even see that. I'm very lucky to still be alive, really. Uh-oh. What does a Throne Watcher do? I mean, obviously watch a throne, but in what sense? Like, I can understand a Throne Defender, but why would you need a Throne Watcher? That's the first of the two down. These don't really seem like bosses. I mean, they sort of do, but... Oh, I noticed the bright bugs one off, which is fine. It served its purpose. Oh, hang on, I was one-handing the whole time. I feel a bit like Piccolo fighting with his weighted training armor. And then taking it off at a dramatic moment. I mean, that's annoying, but not a big deal. I'm debating whether I use another bright bug. Probably not. Uh-oh. You had an opportunity there and you squandered it. Stop that now. Stop that right now. I see why these are a boss now. I actually may genuinely have trouble killing them quickly enough. I think they may win. I'm not sure I can stop them. We'll see. Oh, I've been defeated. Oh no, I haven't. I probably will be though. Yeah, defeated. That's annoying. That's an interesting problem as well. They weren't hard to defeat, but for the resurrecting. And I just am not convinced I could do damage quickly enough to take them out. I think in practical... Hang on, I forgot about you. Interesting, the door's shut again. I think in practical terms what that means is that I need to get them both to low health and then take them out together. I don't think it's going to work within a very short space of time. Hey Aunt Dad, it's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing alright. I don't know if you saw my comments the other day, but feel free to contact me anytime. I would like to stay in touch with you. And yeah, I don't know how... I'm conscious of not necessarily saying too much on stream, because I don't know how much you'd want said, but I'm aware of the situation, and I'm very sorry about it. Alright, we have a plan. Our Throne of Want, I just realised, because everyone wants it, it's coveted. We have a plan, so I think I use the bright bug again. Obviously I have a very limited supply of them, but when else am I going to use them, as I said before? I think I use the bright bug again, and as I say, the trick here is I want to bring them both down to a slither of health without killing either of them initially, and then I want to in quick succession take them both out. I wonder if... what other weapon do I have? I have the rapier. I'm just wondering if the rapier might be a better weapon for this. The thing is, the arc sword probably does have higher DPS, because it is a very good weapon. But the rapier has the advantage of being faster and nippier. So I'm more likely to be able to exploit shorter opportunities. Oh boy, this isn't good. I'd go so far as to say this is bad. And they squandered their opportunity. Oh my goodness. No, not another bright bug. Oh well. Too late now. That was completely pointless, since I presume they don't stack. Keep it calm though. There's no need to do anything rash. This is my battle to lose. I don't like this couple. They are a bit problematic, aren't they? Ow. So, also, it's lovely to see you, Pikachu. You presumably weren't here at the time, but I have defeated both of them once. The problem is they kept rezzing each other. So I came to the conclusion that my best plan... Ow! Stop that. That my best plan was to try and... since there's this danger of them rezzing each other, I need to take them both out in quick succession. And so obviously the way to do that is to get them both low on health. No! Oh my goodness, I nearly had that. What a pain. Oh well. These two are not the greatest. And I saw it, sir, and thank you. Oh well, once more into the breach. I just can't help but think that I don't think they're the final boss. I mean, call me crazy, they just don't seem like it. I feel like they're some sort of penultimate boss. Maybe I save the rest of the bright bugs under the assumption that there probably is... Oh, are you opening anyway? Oh, I didn't have to do the ring this time. But the door's still shut again. Oh, what was I thinking? Maybe I assume that there may be something after those two, and I just try and do it without the bright bugs. Since I started with 8 and I'm down to 5. And as I say, that I've got this sneaking suspicion there's going to be something after them. Come on, someone commit to something silly. That'll do. Oh wow, the bright bug does actually make a big difference. Oh, I used it by mistake. I was going to say, it does actually make a bigger difference to damage than I expected. Ow. Come on, focus. Don't die. No, not again. Oh. Oh good, they knocked me out of it, so I kept the bright bug. For some reason, I think it's just the colour. I keep like seeing it in the bright bug in the corner of my eye and thinking it's life gems. Okay. Very acrobatic, aren't they? Clearly they've been keeping up whatever stretching routine they have while they've been waiting here for hundreds of years. Yoga or whatever it is they do. Oh no, I don't want to kill them yet. Where's the other one? Oh. Even with the bright bug, they're really quite damaging now. The bright bug and my endgame armor. Don't die! Oh! I'm bad at this game. They're not my favourite. You don't prefer them then? I think I summoned all NPCs because I was just over it. They kind of feel a bit weak and pathetic, but for the fact that at the very end of that fight, you know, when they've got all the electricity on their swords and so on, they can do, and they're being more aggressive, at least I think their level of aggression changes, they can lay down, between them, they can lay down a lot of damage very quickly. If you happen to get caught between both of them, then they can finish you off before you have any... They can kill you from full health before you really have a chance to do anything. Still, let's try it again. Is there anyone on that throne? Ow. Hang on, I can't get over there. There's a bunch of giants in the way. And a moat. I'll of some description, or at least, if not a moat, a ditch. I'm just hoping this isn't a gauntlet. It's one thing if I have to defeat these two and then something else later, but another if I have to do it straight after. That was good. Between the two of them I did a lot of damage there. No! This is fine though. I think I'm going to work on the assumption that these aren't the final boss and that I won't be plunged into a gauntlet, and I'll remove the bright bugs from the equipment list so I don't get tempted, or I don't accidentally do it more than tempted. I separated them and killed them one at a time. That's what I tried to do the first time, but then they just resurrected each other. I killed the Watcher first, and I thought, well, that was easy, and then I was making handiwork of the Defender, and then when the Defender was quite low on health, they just ran over to the Watcher and resurrected them, and when they did, they came back on full health. And then I still focused down the Defender, took the Defender out, and then the Watcher just resurrected the Defender. It was very frustrating. I would have easily won first time if it weren't for the resurrection mechanic. Maybe I'll go back to my first sword. It does do more damage. I'm not sure if I'm getting enough benefit from the speed of the rapier to justify it. Look at that damage. It's just terrifying. Stay alive. Uh-oh, back off. Nearly died. Oh, that electricity effect wears off. Look, the watcher had it on earlier, but it's gone. And they're putting it back on. Interesting. What are you doing? No, you can stop that now. Yes! Oh my goodness! Did you see that? The defender was just getting up. They were literally mid-standing up. Oh dear. That was a close one. Keep moving. What? Who? What? Where?
Brave undead,
Yes?
you have proven yourself to me.
Good. Good. It's lovely to see you. Thank you, everyone.
Now, be one with the dawn.
Oh, are you the queen? And therefore one of Manus's daughters? Is this your true form? Now would be the time for the bright bug, but I have actually been forced straight into this. Where's the bright bug? There it is. Ow. Wait, what? My health is going down. I used the life gem and my health went down. That's just not cricket. She's quite tanky. Like, not the tankiest, but still. Do you think my Estus is just going to outright kill me, or will that actually heal me? It does actually heal me, good. Oh, is my health just naturally going down? Bit by bit. Yes. Although it seems... there is definitely something funny going on with the life gems. Wow. What are these souls or whatever they are that she summoned? Uh-oh. Don't kill me. No! What did I just say? That's a pity. She has a lovely dress and an even lovelier scythe. Oh, that's annoying. Do I have to do the first part again? I wonder. I wasn't aware you were such a connoisseur of scythes, Pikachu. I do enjoy a nice scythe. Ah, good. Straight onto this. That's probably going to be her downfall, to be honest.
Brave undead,
Different cutscene.
you have proven yourself to
I wonder if I'd defeated her first time, if that would have affected the end of the game. Given that this is a different cutscene.
be one with the dark.
Bright bug time. Life. No, not bright. No, not bright bug again. Ah. Oh well. That thing really hurts. And I'm dead. Hmm. Hey fella. Lovely to see you. It's going okay. I haven't beat the final boss yet, but I don't feel especially challenged either. How are you doing? Okie dokie, Pikachu. Oh! I was looking at chat. And this is our heroine. The one that's going to save us, maybe. It's actually not clear that she does have anyone's interests at heart other than her own, but still. I've got to admit, the iPhone hasn't shown any signs of overheating yet. I know it's a bit early in the stream, but still, it's a positive sign. Just got home. Sweating terribly after going shopping in the sun. Yep, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm surviving. Thank you for asking. One day at a time. And it is quite warm here as well. Alright, let's try this again. Hopefully this time no goofing. Right, bright bug. Oh, no cutscene this time. Mistimed it. Oh well, no bright bug for me then. Outdoor shopping? I have to carry stuff home at least. Didn't go shopping at all last week due to feeling a bit ill, so I had to carry a bunch. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Oh, that enemy's been permanently defeated now. Still, I hope you didn't have to carry too much too far. I distinctly recall from university what it was like having to carry big full shopping bags a reasonable distance, and yeah, I wouldn't it's not a fun time. I like the scythe design. It looks a bit like a double helix at the base. Wow. Don't appreciate that. I need to remember I can take multiple swigs of my Estus if necessary. What are you doing? I don't know. Back off, back off. Ow. That's annoying, so I was moving away. Oh, and again. If I had a brain, I would have gone twice instead, but then I would have to go twice. Oh dear, it was one of those shopping trips then. So you have a little wagon you can roll home, Foa? That's an idea, a wheelbarrow would help, wouldn't it? Then again, you probably wouldn't want to wheel a little wheelbarrow around the shops. Or to use your brute strength. I suspect he's using his brute strength. I do wonder if attacking those things she summoned would help. But on the other hand, she seems so weak anyway, so as a person that's been defeated by her time and again. I wonder what that dress is made of. I just realised what she was doing too late. Oh well. Strength. But more stubbornness than strength. Yeah. Were you carrying so much that grip becomes an issue as well? Where the bags start biting into your hands and it becomes a real struggle to hold on to everything. Let's try this again. I never enjoyed this walk back, and sometimes you get invaded. That would be suboptimal. No, back off. I am lucky to have got away with that, given how late I noticed. I don't want to jinx it. I think she's done. I may have jinxed it. No, I jinxed it! I just had to get one more hit in. The thing that's really annoying is she doesn't feel like a difficult boss. I feel like I'm playing badly. I don't feel like she's a difficult boss. Phew, now I've put everything away at last. Close. Yeah, I've been close a number of times. I nearly got her the first time. Well, shows what I get for my hubris. When I fought her, she died. Thank you, Pikachu. Then she exploded and I died. Oh. Oh, I just noticed there's like skulls and hands coming out the bottom of her dress. I was asking what a dress is made out of, and I think it is literally bones. Somehow. I don't know what's holding them all together. I didn't need to drink all that Estus. Is this it? Right, back off, back off. We have reason to believe she'll explode. Okay. Never mind, job done.
Many monarchs have come and gone.
Who's speaking now? Oh, it's... Oops.
Slumbers in the realm of ice.
Sorry, I skipped one line.
Not one of them stood here. As you do.
That's that wizard, isn't it? Whose house we visited.
You, conqueror of adversities.
I've forgotten his name.
Give us your answer.
And what do you mean none stood here as I do now? I wish I hadn't skipped that line of dialogue earlier. Like, no one managed to defeat Nish... Oh, I am in a boss fight. Aldia. Well, thank you for that, Aldia. You said give us your answer and then you immediately attacked me. Oh dear. Well, that didn't go well. Scholar of the First Sin. So he's who this edition of the game is named after. This boss was added at the same time as Scholar of the First Sin was released. Really? So people completed the game and then just suddenly discover that, oh, there's another boss. That was the worst. That's why we made sure to get all dialogue at different bonfires so many streams ago. Oh, I see. So I wouldn't have had this boss otherwise. Piano. It is some nice piano music. Now, do I have to defeat Nishandra again? Or can I focus on Aldia? I also kind of wish I'd saved those 8 bright bugs for Aldia now. But how could I have known? Aldia actually, I know I haven't fought him much at all yet. Aldia actually feels like he's going to be a difficult boss. Nishandra, I was just goofing a lot. She didn't feel that challenging. But Aldia does. Should have made it all 3 bosses in a row. Still easier than DLC bosses. I'm not that good at the game, Foa. That's just the sad truth of the matter. Okay, good. Wow. You seem more resistant to damage than I would like. No! Oh, I feel like an idiot. Did you do all 3 bosses in a row, Foa? I want to see how much damage the rapier does by comparison, because the problem I was having there might be damage type. It may be that he's highly resistant to physical damage, for example, but say lightning would do him a great disservice. Nope, hard to reset if you beat 1 and then die. Unless you mess around with save files. So presumably if I hadn't got the dialogue earlier, Aldia just wouldn't have appeared? Or would I have just not known who they were? Would I have just... my response be one of bewilderment? Huh? Who are you? Which, to be honest, would actually be pretty good. Because, I think that would actually be quite realistic, that if you actually lived in a universe like this, that, you know, you would, okay, that you would, suddenly find people you've never heard of before pop up out of the woodwork and get in your way. She wouldn't have appeared. Oh, is Aldia a woman? I did not realise. My mistake. Unless you don't die. Oh, it is a he. I did note the rapier doesn't do considerably less damage than the arc sword, so because it's so much quicker, it's going to have a higher DPS, I would predict. Aldir is the older brother of King Vendrick. Okay, I did not know this. I didn't notice the resemblance. What are you doing? This feels like an attack. Ow. That is most definitely an attack. Ow. Ah. I need to get better at not just getting killed for silly reasons. Hold on, let me look at my rings quickly. Poison Bite I'm not going to need. Fire Bite on the other hand. Oh, is it Flame Quartz I want? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Oops. I don't need the Ring of Binding anymore because of the crown. So I'm better off going with the steel protection. The protection against physical. Right, that should help. I didn't either, to be honest. Saw it when I confirmed it was he or she. Oh, interesting. I wonder how they figured that out. Could that be... Do they know from the lore in this game, or did Dark Souls 3 clear that one up, I wonder? What sort of person would camp this spot and invade? iPhone still seems to be doing alright for temperature so far as I can tell. Ow. Wait, why am I suddenly doing so much less damage than I was just a moment ago? I was doing about 200 damage a hit. I'm still two-handing, so it's not that. I genuinely don't know why my damage has just suddenly dropped off so spectacularly. And now it's back up again and I'm better off with the arc sword. Ow. Now it's back down again. For some inexplicable reason. Oh, that was painful. I think he is. I think he's shifting his defences. I think he can choose which elements to be resistant to, but only one at a time or something like that. That is very interesting if true. But if that is the case, why can I not see any animation associated with it? You'd have thought they would have signalled that somehow. I thought it said something somewhere because I knew about that too. It's confirmed in the item description of an item, Aldia Hammer. Aldia used by Aldean acolytes, not used as a weapon, but as an instrument to dissect the bodies of the victims of their experimentation. They say that Lord Aldia was the king's elder brother and helped found Drangleic, but he later lost interest in the land's fortunes. That's very interesting, because usually titles go to the oldest son. So it's interesting that Vendrick he obviously didn't inherit the throne. He took the throne by force, and even though he had an elder brother, it didn't go to him. Which is interesting. Although you'd have, if that implies King Vendrick had no male heir, any male issue. In which case, why didn't the throne be inherited by Aldia automatically? Maybe because he didn't conquer it? And they won't go up the family line prior to the conqueror? Okay, you're resistant to this right now. So we try the arc sword. Or we will do. That's annoying. Damage is still low. Maybe his shifting around is what triggers the change in defences. Although he's not resistant to this currently. Oh, he just started being resistant. It's the fire, isn't it? It's the fire that's giving him the resistance, and it's probably a general resistance. So you'd be vulnerable now, for example. But not now. Interesting. What makes me think he's going to have a horrible stage 2? Which might be now. that hurt. I do wonder if that's supposed to be an opening. If I'm supposed to be attacking when he's doing that. Ow. Don't appreciate that. He loses his fire when he teleports. As long as I can hold it together. Oh, never mind. And not goof. Ow. We've probably got this. Have I jinxed myself? Back off before you die. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. Whoa, one of them survived. It didn't hit the ground. It's still following me. Oh, I think that was your last mistake, Aldia. And it was. Huzzah! Hang on, you're not going to explode, are you? Nope. We got him. That's Aldia down.
And remain here patiently.
Not quite defeated.
Will certainly receive you. But the question remains. Would you tell me?
Why did you attack me?
Light, dark, or something else entirely?
Right, let's not... I keep talking about goofing. Let's not goof like I did in the first game and accidentally make myself a Dark Lord. It's been made clear to me I'm supposed to link some sort of fire. Like a dream, but I did it. It just says proceed to throne. There's no bonfire for me to link. I can leave or I can go to the throne. I don't know what the significance of these decisions are. Now select the ending. I mean, with no further information, the throne, in this case, is a kiln, if I recall correctly. Oh, okay. Right, then I'm supposed to take the throne. A lot of giants here. How do they see? I assume it's something to do with that orifice in the center of their, like, upper abdomen.
You who link
The
the fire.
center of their chest.
You who bear the curse.
Yes?
Once the fire is linked, souls will flourish anew, and all of this will play out again.
Shana Latte?
It is your choice
I think I've
to
mispronounced that.
embrace or renounce this.
Was it Shana Lot she called herself, I should say. I don't know. Shana Latte will do for now. Doesn't look very
Great
comfy,
sovereign,
does it?
take your throne. What lies ahead, only you can see.
Oh dear, the door's shutting. What was the point in that? We have no subjects that I'm aware of, and we're just locked in a kiln. Blimey. So that was Dark Souls 2. It was good. I've spoken quite a lot about the things that I think it improved upon the first game and the things that I think it made worse. I suppose I should probably recap those quickly. I think the introduction of life gems, an alternate way to heal, a slow heal over time, but which allows you to move as you're using it, that was a really good idea. I think making them an item you have to pay for and which are in limited supply, that was a bad move, because that meant that you couldn't always just keep fighting the same boss over and over until you got it. You had to keep taking breaks to grind for more life gems, which isn't very fun. And also, especially at the start of the game, when you don't necessarily have enough souls to buy a full complement of life gems, that got frustrating for no good reason. What else? I think the idea of having enemies only being able to be summoned... Sorry, only spawning in, I meant to say. Enemies only spawning in up to 12 times was actually a really good one. I think that really helps with accessibility. Helps people that otherwise might have difficulty play the game actually play it all the way through. I think having ways to subvert that was also a good idea, like the Covenant of Champions, which allows you to disable that effectively, so that enemies will just keep spawning in no matter what. Oh goodness me, I've just been raided. Thank you, Avon. They're in ads, so I'll speak to them in a moment, I think. Welcome in, raiders, though. I'm Robert from the El Magnifico Games channel, and I'm a variety streamer. We've just finished Dark Souls 2, and I'm summing up my thoughts on the game. And then fairly shortly, we're going to start Dark Souls 3. What was I thinking? I think having enemies only spawn in a certain number of times was good. I think having a way to subvert that, like the Covenant of Champions, was good. I think I wasn't a big fan of the mechanic whereby you could force an area into New Game Plus by burning a bonfire ascetic. I liked the fact that it reset the enemies. I thought that was good. But I didn't like the fact that the area got harder and harder and harder. You could argue just use the Covenant of Champions then instead of the bonfire ascetic. That's sort of fair enough. But the human effigies, I think, was a bad idea. I think the fact that I think having your health go down every time you die was silly and shouldn't have been there. That's just frustrating, making you weaker when you're doing badly. You're punishing the weak there, which is not a good idea. Like, you don't want to... It's kicking someone when they're down. It's making it harder for players that are worse at the game. So players that are better at the game are going to have an easier time. Not what you want to do, and especially with the Dark Lurker, that was my least favourite boss in the entire game. By far. Having to then spend human effigies to get into there, that was silly. And that forced me to use loads of bonfire ascetics to get the human effigies I needed, which forced certain areas into the game up to a level of New Game Plus that I didn't want to deal with. I think all of that didn't work. I think they would need to separate the we respawn the items in this area from the we make the area harder. Those should be two separate functions. But honestly, they wouldn't need to respawn the items in the area if you didn't have to farm for items in the first place, in particular human effigies. I missed Elana? I'm afraid so. When was Elana? That was last time, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm afraid you did. Well, I think I'm a little behind, so apologise if my chatting is ill-timed. No, that's absolutely fine. I'm just, having just finished Dark Souls 2, I'm summarising my thoughts on it, and then very shortly we're going to move on to Dark Souls 3. How was your stream? What was I thinking? So yeah, the human effigies, not a fan. They shouldn't have had the curse mechanic in the game at all, in my opinion. I don't think it makes the game more fun. On the contrary, I think it makes it less fun. If it weren't for that, if they didn't have that mechanic, you wouldn't have had the situation with the human effigies. Or maybe you would have with the Dark Lurker, but again, they shouldn't have had that. You shouldn't have been paying human effigies to fight the Dark Lurker. And that would have meant that the Bonfire Ascetic's main role would have just been to make an area harder, not to respawn items, even if it did that as a side effect. Like, it wouldn't have suddenly become so essential to farming out human effigies, essentially. So that would have solved a lot of problems there, I think, if they just didn't have the curse mechanic. She's my least favourite, and I kind of wanted to see your reaction. Do you want me to tell you how I got on? So I would say, one thing I would say in Dark Souls 2's favour is, although I do think some of the decisions they made, the design decisions, were not well thought out, and I think that's a shame and could have been avoided, I must give them credit for being willing to try and innovate on the formula. There are some specific ways in which I think they did significantly improve on the first game, and if the price for that was that they were going to introduce a few mechanics that didn't work so well, then so be it. I mean, in principle, this would set them up very well for the third game to give you the best of both, because they've experimented with the formula a bit. Whether that's what we'll actually find, I don't know. My stream went well, actually. Played Hollow Knight. I beat Trial of the Fall in the Colosseum and the first two Pantheons in Godhome. Well done, Avon. Yeah, I seem to remember that's when the Pantheon started to get hard. It felt like, I've forgotten exactly which Pantheon it was, but fairly early on, like Pantheon 3, Pantheon 4, maybe Pantheon 5, I've forgotten. One of those, just the difficulty just shot up. Keep in mind, most mechanics that are odd are to motivate multiplayer. That's true, and I didn't enjoy the multiplayer. I didn't like the fact that Did I beat even one other human player in multiplayer throughout the entire time? I think I must have, but I don't remember when. I must have been losing at least 9 times for every one time I won. That was really frustrating. I don't know how they'd fix that. But it was really frustrating to be trying to do something, minding my own business, and then have someone who's much better at the game just spawn in and kill me. Story-wise, it was a FromSoft game. We never really got a good answer as to why we were there and why we were doing what we were doing. It was just sort of, well, I can go in this direction and there's people I can kill there, so let's go that way. Yeah, see the ending. So it could have been, oh, I'm back here. And, oh, the Emerald Herald is still here. Do I have my items back? No, I don't. Do I have any souls on me? No. This seems like a bit of a worst of all worlds. Do you have anything to say to me this time, Emerald Herald?
Bearer of the curse, until hope has...
Okay. Huh. Well, there we go. What was I thinking? So yeah, story-wise, I wouldn't say it was weak as such, but it was underdeveloped. But that's what you kind of expect from a FromSoft game. I remember I discussed this specifically after I played the first game. I don't object to games revealing the story in like little puzzle pieces as you go along. Just feeding you little breadcrumbs. That's fine, because in my view that's quite realistic. You know, you don't... In real life you don't necessarily know what people's grand plans are, as it were, if they have any at all. And you certainly don't know how different people are going to interact in the future. So it makes sense that you would experience the world in a breadcrumb fashion. What I do object to is the game not telling me what the main character's motivations are, or, if they're not going to do that, giving me adequate ways to decide for myself. Like in some role-playing games, they may give you a lot of creative control to play the character how you like, and that's fine. But the Dark Souls 1 and 2 did neither of those two things. You weren't informed about the character's past or their motivations, and you weren't given the ability to decide for yourself, really. Or at least not in a way that was impactful on the world. So there's so much we're still in the dark about, and that just doesn't make sense. It's not realistic. Not grinding Pantheon 5 anytime soon. I've heard some things, but Pantheon 2 was easier than Pantheon 1 in my opinion. Interesting. This game doesn't... Perhaps you're just getting better. This game doesn't automatically put you on New Game Plus. In New Game Plus. It seems not. When the game was new, everyone would be close to the same skill level, which would make PvP more even. True. That's so you could technically beat the game and then go back and do missed content such as DLCs. Oh, yes. That makes sense. I feel like for beating the game, they could have at least given me a few souls, though, or saved my items from before I did the boss fights and give them back to me, one or the other. It's a bit harsh to take my items, or let me use my items and not even give me a single soul to buy stuff back, to restock with. They give you your motivation in the opening cutscene of the game. You're motivated by a desire to retain what humanity you have so you don't go hollow. Okay. Clearly I missed that. Fair enough to an extent. I still feel like the game's very loose on details in a FromSofty sort of way. I don't feel like... I suppose what I'm getting at is they don't give me enough creative control to create a character that I'm invested in, and they don't give me enough details to make me invested in the character. Like, think of like a good novel in a fantasy world, for example. You know, you get invested in the main character's life and their aspirations, whether that be good, bad, something in the middle. You know, it's the skill of the writer that makes you care. Or I suppose in some books maybe you end up rooting against the main character, but even so, they still, you know, get you invested. That's what I think it's missing from a story perspective. Sorry, I had a phone call. You beat it! I did. Sorry you missed that, Pikachu, and thank you for giving Avon a shout out. Dark Souls 1 and 3 leave your motivations a bit open-ended for roleplay purposes. You have some breadcrumbs to piece stuff together. Yeah, I'm still going to stand by the point I made, though I feel like there's not enough. I feel like this isn't an overall I'm not trying to argue that the game's a bad game. I'm trying to objectively sum up the good and the bad. And I think a weakness of the first two Dark Souls games is that the story is left sufficiently vague that it's hard to get invested. You may get very invested in the game for other reasons, because you really enjoy the gameplay, but I think the story is lacking. And I don't think that's simply down to differing tastes, is what I'm getting at. Because what I was trying to allude to earlier is there are styles of storytelling where you may be deliberately a bit vague, but if you were going to do that, you would do other things as well to tie it all together, which they haven't. I kind of like the blank slate. Part of the allure of the Souls games is that the protagonist could be literally anyone. Yeah, but in my opinion, games that do that really, really well also give you more creative control to make decisions that affect the world. I'm not against having a character that's a blank slate, but if they are a blank slate, let me fill in the blank slate and have the world react to it. Pacing. Could you elaborate a little, Pikachu? So, what was I saying? So in terms of the gameplay, I think Dark Souls 2 made some good improvements on Dark Souls 1, but also some made some missteps. I think the story, like the first game's, a bit on the weak side, at least in terms of like the writing and the way it's revealed to the player. Like I say, I've got nothing against games that want to give you the story in breadcrumbs, but I feel like there's just too little substance here. Silent protagonists in general tend to be blank slates, so the player can project themselves onto their character. You are. Yeah, but like I say, like the games that do that well also let you make choices that matter, so that you can feel invested in your decisions and see the effect they've had upon the world. Like, for example, I'm not saying this is the only way they could have done this, but just as an example of the sort of thing they could have done, they could have allowed you to develop Medulla in different directions, depending upon your choices in game, such that different people's Medulla would be, you know, reasonably significantly different by the end of the game. Because then that would have felt like that each player's version of Medulla would have felt like a fingerprint. It would have felt like, you know, no, these are the decisions I made, and this is why, and this has been the result. For example, there are other ways they could have achieved the same thing, but they didn't. The problem is, if you have the player as a blank slate and breadcrumb the story, and the story is quite scanty on substance, you just end up in this situation. In my opinion, I mean, by all means disagree, in my opinion, you end up in a situation where it is hard to get invested in the character and the story of the game. Perhaps not impossible, but like it, I think that isn't just down to the style by which they I think that's not just down to like preference in storytelling. I think that I don't think I'm being unfair in saying that it's a weakness. I think that Dark Souls 1 and 2 are a bit weak in their stories for this reason. That doesn't make them bad games, not by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, I don't think this is like going to be a story that really stands out in my memory and I remember in great detail for years. And even right now, I don't feel massively invested in this character. I don't really know who she is. I know I could have projected a lot onto her, but not in a way that would have been reflected in the game world. Not in a way that other people would react to. I get what you're saying, but that would have required something like a dialogue tree, which sort of takes away from the genre. I think it's more specific than genre. I think it's more like subgenre. In that, I think the sort of things... I mean, Dark Souls is an action RPG, right? I feel like the action RPG umbrella certainly allows for the sort of things I'm describing. But yes, I get what you mean. It would change the game significantly, and that wasn't what they were going for. And I'd agree with that. Again, this isn't about trying to put Dark Souls down in any way. I'm trying to objectively sum up what I see as being the good points and the bad points, especially in comparison to the first game. You could quickly do Morglin, the Armourer's storyline here in town if you want, by the way. I didn't know he had a storyline. Okay, tell me more. We could do that quickly. I feel like there was one more point I was going to make about Dark Souls 1 and 2. So I've talked a bit about the gameplay changes. I've talked a bit about the story. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I agree with Art Dad that I think this game was a little long for what it is. I know that might seem like a bit of an unfair criticism, because who wants to pay for a game that's too short? Surely they're just giving you value for money. But I do think it got... I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy it, but I definitely felt like this experience was dragging on a bit by the end. I don't know. I feel like there's more to say there, but I'm not sure what to actually say. The house next to the pit. Each character does have their own questline, but you can miss characters' dialogue or events. Dialogue, spend 1,000 souls. More dialogue, might have to rest at a bonfire in between. Okay, so I'm going to need to use some hard souls, because I currently have no souls on me. There, is that 1,000? I have no idea. That's 2,000, that'll do the trick. This house? Are you the one?
You need armor? Go ahead. See what I'm offering. I'm rich! I'm rich! I don't need to go home anymore.
Oh, really?
Home? Home? Where is home?
The curse. You might have already spent enough already.
I'm rich! I don't need home.
What do I do, or do I do nothing?
Are
Is
you
this
sure?
done?
Well, I may sell out while you're away.
This one's the longest for the trilogy. Elden Ring is even longer, by the way, so you may want to split that up. Interesting. I think, as I was saying before, I feel like there's more to be said on the topic, but I haven't really collected my thoughts enough to say much more. I don't think, I'm not saying that you couldn't have a game that's this long or longer that's not good. I just feel like it wasn't... I feel like it was longer than it needed to be for what it is, if that makes sense. So it may... I don't know. We'll have to wait and see till I play Elden Ring. I might well find I don't feel the same way about Elden Ring. I might well find that due to differences in the gameplay or the story, that for Elden Ring, it being a longer game works much better. But for this game... I feel like they could have removed content and it wouldn't have been any worse for it. May I recommend for content to remove the Gutter, the Black Gulch, and the Dark Lurker. I think this game would have been considerably better without those, personally, but that's just my opinion. You can at least talk with him with 0 souls now. Okay, so was that everything, Foa? Should I wrap up now and head on to Dark Souls 3? Because, I mean, like, one of the things that I've got in the back of my mind is, would I ever want to come back and play this game again? Honestly, the Dark Lurker alone puts me off genuinely. Like, I'm not just saying that for effect. Like, genuinely, I really did not enjoy the Dark Lurker. I have been told if I'd been running a significantly different build, it may have been a lot more interesting though. So that's worth considering. But aside from that, also the length. It's like, it would be a big commitment. Like, I'm not... Well, I've made this point several times already. As I was saying, I just feel like it was slightly too long for what it was. Not that games can't be good that are longer, but I feel like that... I suppose what I'm trying to get at, and I'm circling around, is I feel like there was a special something that was missing to justify the length. I don't know what that something is, but I feel like if they wanted to make it this long, there needed to be something more to spice it up, which wasn't there. Something lacking from the experience, which would have helped keep things interesting. Yeah, you can proceed with Dark Souls 3. Elden Ring is shorter than this game. You're not forced to do as much to get the end as you have in this game. I see. What class are you thinking of for 3? That's a very good question. I know for Elden Ring I want to do a magic build. Because I have been told that a lot of the Elden Ring bosses are just not as fun to play melee against. That they do a lot of things that make it difficult to learn their patterns deliberately to subvert the genre, but that just doesn't work well. That it makes them just annoying. And so for that reason I'm thinking ranged, therefore magic. Now, I had been intending to do either a quality or dex build for Dark Souls 3, but I've also heard the counter argument that if I want to do a magic build in Elden Ring, then I should probably start learning the skill in another game. If you skip most of the game, sure. Dad, if you want to not be seriously under-leveled, you kind of have to tackle as much as you can or farm, and farming's boring. Nope, I can do all bosses, all quest lines in less than 20 minutes. Aren't you also a speedrunner? Nope. Dad isn't a speedrunner, but I hope he won't mind my saying he is actually genuinely very, very good at Souls-like games. At least by my standards he is. This game is also beatable in 20 hours, but ER has more content. Minimum amount of bosses in DS2 is 9 if I recall correctly, so you can skip most here too. Fair enough. Anyway, that's my summary of this game. I always like to summarise games when I finish them. I don't know why, it's just something I do. I have had problems in the past where when a window that's being captured disappears, sometimes OBS crashes, which it shouldn't do. There's no justifiable reason for it to do that, but I have observed that before. So I'm just warning you now, if the stream goes down, that's why. But I'm not expecting that to happen. And then we'll boot up Dark Souls 3. We good? We're good. Where's Dark Souls 3? There it is. Just booting the game up. Why didn't you go middle of the road with DS3 then? Dex int or something? Tell me more. How would I do that? Like, I've never tried a mixed build in a Dark Souls game. Like, I've played other games where I've deliberately tried to mix classes. Not in a Dark Souls game. I don't know how that would work. The game is just annoying as well for me. But that's me. It's the only one I don't enjoy playing. Yeah. See, the thing that Art Dad's talking about Dark Souls 2, to be clear, not Dark Souls 3. At least based on what I've heard him say in the past. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. Hang on, let me just quickly split the recording so that when I upload this I have one recording for Dark Souls 2 and one for Dark Souls 3.